PRT
and Jeremy Show! On this episode, this is Adrian from the Birthmark Society.
Hey guys.
This is my friend Adrian, the guy I met at Target. And please listen. And yeah, let's start it off. I was wearing a Dr. Rock shirt, and I saw this dude, and he was really cool. And
I was at the Starbucks inside Target, and I happened to see Jeremy with his shirt, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool shirt. So I had to talk to him, and we just started talking, and kind of learned a little bit about him, and we exchanged contact information on social media, and have kept in touch. I think it's been about 4 or 5 months now.
Yep.
And we're here today.
So what is a birthmark?
So a birthmark is something you're born with, and there are several different types. Mine is called a port wine stain, and it's on my cheek and left temple. And obviously, with the name birthmark, I was born with it, so I've had it all my life.
Wow.
That's great. How did you start your society, the Birthmark Society?
So I'm 41. It took me 39 years to find people that look like me. And when I did, I just felt like something was missing. And so I literally messaged probably thousands of people on Instagram about what do they feel is missing from our community. And the two biggest things I wrote down were awareness and representation. And then I took it a step further and tried to find something like a brand for us, and I couldn't find one. And so I kind of just, through thinking of it for quite some time, I realized that we kind of are our own society, and the word Birthmark Society just popped in my head, and it became our brand.
So do you know anyone with a birthmark? Growing up?
No. And when I was between the ages of 17 and 19, I did have laser surgery. And what that is, it keeps the skin healthy. For those that don't know, with a birthmark, it can never be fully removed. So it's permanent, but it can be lightened. And so with that said, between the ages of 17 and 19, I had, I think, 4 or 5 laser surgeries at UCI, Irvine. And I met people there, but it was kind of in passing, never a conversation like this. So up until I was 39 years old, I had never spoken to somebody that looks like me with a birthmark. In May of 2022 is roughly when I found the community online. I just typed in #birthmark on Instagram, and then I was flooded with pictures of people that look like me. But it took from May until October of 2022. So it took about 6 months for me to kind of work up the courage to find people. And I happened to go to a free laser clinic at Beckman Laser Institute at UCI, Irvine. And that was the first time I met people like me. And there were anywhere from 40 to 50 people. And I remember that day vividly where, and I don't know if it was like this for you guys, but it was very emotional to the point where I was crying in front of everybody because I was seeing them, and it's hard to describe. I was seeing them for the first time as normal people, and they were looking at me like I was normal, not like, what's that on your face type of thing. And very emotional day, and ever since then, I've been on this path and journey of trying to connect our community and also spread awareness and representation through our brand, Birthmark Society.
That's great.
Wow.
That is very inspirational.
I appreciate that. And I get inspiration from the community. Like I like to tell everybody that, like, I'm just a normal guy that's just trying to make an impact and, serve our community as best as I can.
That's great.
That's pretty awesome. As a child, did anyone had to what's the word?
Point out.
pointing out of that you had a birthmark as a child?
Yeah, there were several times in elementary school where, so if you actually press the birthmark really firmly, it kind of goes away and then pops back up. So one kid discovered that, and he did it, and showed other people that, hey, come check this out. And at the time, I thought it was cool to get the attention, but then looking back, it almost feels like you were that person in the circus that everybody's kind of pushing and touching, and looking back, it feels awkward looking back, but at the time, it was attention that I thought was cool, but it wasn't. And thankfully, in junior high school and high school, I joined band. I was in drumline. And I think that has a big part to, I wasn't ever bullied in junior high and high school. And I think it's because I was part of a group of musicians. And, in the community, I tell a lot of parents that are struggling with, them being afraid of what will happen to my child growing up. I always tell them, try to find a group that they can fit in, whether it's band, sports, or drama, or any type of just group where they can connect through something else. And so, childhood was like that. And then as an adult, I remember the one time that really kind of scarred me for a while. I was at a bar, social setting, and I approached a woman and, tapped her and said, hi. And she turned around, looked at me, pointed at my birthmark and said, ew, and then turned around and started talking to her friends again. And that one hurt for a while. It was hard for me to bounce back from that.
That's kind of mean.
Yeah.
When somebody was like that, you rather talk to that person.
Right.
They talk to you, like, if somebody was, like, telling you, like, you look so different, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Why? Like, talk to the person and just, like, knowing that person. And it's not the way that he say that wrong, but, like, what he did that to you is absolutely wrong.
Right.
And nobody's going to judge the way you look. And I think that person, he's like, maybe, it's like drama, maybe, like starting up drama, and he doesn't know what is a birthmark.
Right.
And you're different, and he's different, and it's kind of hard. Sometimes, like, people, like, with birthmarks, like, they're really cool people, and they are great people.
And the thing, when something like that happens to you, and I don't know if you guys have experienced, similar kind of situations,
Yeah.
but, reflecting on it, I'm better off not even interacting with her, because
Good.
that type of personality and judgment, you don't want to be a part of
No.
or associated with, right?
Yeah.
So I'm better off without it.
I think having a birthmark like you have kind of makes you unique.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
Is there a conference for like kind of like the
Well,
Birthmark Society?
Yeah.
Yeah, so through several foundations, and I'll say their names, the Sturge Weber Foundation and the Nevis Outreach Foundation. Nevis is a different type of birthmark. It's a black birthmark. But the Sturge Weber Foundation is a different type of birthmark foundation, and they have annual conferences held in different cities in the United States during the summer. So with that said, they have their conferences. Later this year, I am going to start the Birthmark Society Foundation, which I'm really proud of. And we will continually have meetups and conferences, hoping at least once or twice per year, and then every other month, virtual Zoom meetups. And I have been doing that with my friend Paige, @flawless_effect on Instagram. Her and I for the past year have been doing in-person meetups and virtual Zoom meetups. And each time we do it, there's a new person that comes on that, just like me, has never met anybody with a birthmark. And each time a person like that comes on, it's very emotional. They cry, and it's all happy tears because
Yeah.
you don't feel alone anymore. And for 39 years, I felt alone. And, to be able to relate to people like that and, just let them know that moving forward, they'll never be alone again.
What's been the journey so far?
So, the past 2 years have been incredibly inspiring in the sense that I go out of my way to try to find people that look like myself. And thankfully, I found a lot of people in person and, through social media. And, looking back, I don't feel like I've made an impact. And it's so weird to say, but then I get reminded by the people I've met and, messages of, thank you for being an inspiration to my child, or even adults, like, thank you for connecting us. And I remember we had a meetup last June in San Diego, and a guy, Danny, who's been a part of the community for a very long time, somebody I look up to tremendously. We were talking about the brand, and I was thanking him for supporting. And I just said, it's kind of weird that, like, birthmarks have been around for a very long time, and there isn't anything that represents us. And what he said next kind of shocked me. He said, well, maybe we were waiting for you. And it just brought me to tears because I'm just this guy with a birthmark. And, moments like that, or, I'll get messages from across the world, people I've never met, just messaged on social media, thanking me for, doing what I'm doing. And that's what keeps me going. And, it's, the sky's the limit.
Wow.
Yeah. Are you crying?
Are you
right
crying?
now?
Well, yeah,
I'm literally crying too.
I know, it's very emotional.
But I kind of love it.
that you felt alone for something that
This brought me
honestly,
another
I never
question.
would have thought
That's
separated
good.
you
Yeah.
from anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Because people, and you can add this, people sometimes say, it's just a birthmark.
Yeah.
And so what we tell people like that is, get red marker, paint your face, go out in public for one day, and see how many stares and questions and comments you get. We have to deal with that every day of our lives,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. This brought me to another question.
Sure.
Did anyone from while you were at school, did anyone bully the way you had a birthmark?
No, not really. Again,
This brought me that.
yeah, again, because I was in band and drumline through junior high and high school, I think because I had the support of others with a common interest of making great music, but then also the upperclassmen, I think that because the other kids in school knew I was associated, and this is just me thinking about it,
Yeah.
looking back, that because I was a part of a group, they probably didn't bully me because they knew there were upperclassmen that I knew through band and drumline.
That's great. Having that support to help
That's
you.
what I'm putting that up. So
Is it nice to have support in school when you had a birthmark?
Yeah, I never, because I was so focused on making music and academics, I really didn't think so much of my birthmark. More of focusing on making great music and just trying to do good in school. It wasn't really until I was an adult where, those times, like I said, at the bar and social gathering, when somebody makes a remark like that, as an adult, it kind of sticks with you a little bit more so than when you're, growing up, where you can kind of just, I guess, brush it off because there's other things that you have to do and think about.
but like in reality, it's like, you know what? You gotta love them for them.
Absolutely.
Because it's just a title. Like we have Down syndrome and Adrian has a birthmark. That's really cool how he has one. Like that's who he is. Don't judge the way he is. So
And I think there's a reason why we happen to cross paths at Target
Yes.
on a random day.
Yeah.
When I think you guys didn't go to Costco for a certain reason. I think it was for like Gatorade or something. And so you guys went to Target. And, you know, with me trying to find, I guess, others that are quote unquote different or not normies. We call everybody else normies. It's inspiring to see your journey as well, and you know, for you guys to be doing something like this is, you know, pushing the boundaries of just because we are different, we can still do incredibly amazing things. So this is pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I left some hard truths out of the beginning of the journey, and my mom is my best friend. She really pushed me to try to find people that look like me back in 2022. And she had a heart attack and passed in my arms. I couldn't save her. And that was May 1st, 2022, which is also the start of International Birthmark Awareness Month. And so that actually really pushed me to reach out on social media about, you know, meeting people like me. And that's really the beginning of the journey. And sometimes I leave that out because I just get too emotional. And, you know, she was my biggest supporter of trying to find people that look like me. And, you know, through this journey, I know she's still pushing me. In November of 2022, I went to a comedy show with a guy that has a birthmark on about 40% of his body in just a random amphitheater in LA. And I happened to go to the bathroom because I needed to go. And so, you know, opening the door to the auditorium, I closed it, went downstairs, went to the bathroom. When I came back up, the door was closed, and the name of the auditorium was Amelia, and that's my mom's name. So I know she's the one that's been guiding and pushing me on this journey, you know, leading me on the right path. And, you know, I can only imagine how proud she would be of how much I've pushed myself to you know, try to make a dent and an impact within our community, and, you know, now all of the differences communities. And I just know that she's continually pushing me in the right direction. And that's really how I kind of got out of my shell, because it took me a while. You know, at first it was just looking at the pictures on Instagram, and then it was, you know, liking, and then, you know, I started commenting, and it took me a very long time for me to post my own picture. And when I did, it was pretty liberating in the sense that I was expecting negative feedback, and I got nothing but positivity. And I think that's when, you know, I became a little bit more comfortable. And now it's to the point where, you know, I seek to look for others. And, you know, this is just one story of many, of so many others in the community that are unfortunately a part of the club that nobody wants to be a part of, with losing both their parents. So, you know, that's kind of also helped me in sense of having another type of ear to bend outside of having a birthmark, but also, you know, connecting with people that don't have their parents anymore either. And, you know, it's been a crazy 2 years.
That seems very difficult.
That was a loving story,
I appreciate
because I'm kind of like you, Adrian. I'm really emotional myself a lot, but when it comes to reality, sometimes is what is every time we push ourselves, and it's like, you know what? I lost somebody who loves me. But, like, in reality, like, you know what? I can relate to this because I am so attached to my emotions, and I'm very attached to my emotional. But like that story was meant for, and we can, and our team can help
I appreciate that.
you,
Thank you.
and we can we could definitely help you with the community with birthmarks and find a person that just like you, so we can help and support you.
Thank you. That means a lot, brother.
That's a great way to end this podcast.
Yeah.
How can our,
So how can our audience find you?
Okay.
So on Instagram, you can find me at birthmark_society _ apparel _ co. It's a lot. And also my personal is at Mufasa PWS 83 on Instagram. This is my formal invitation to you guys and anybody that you guys know that would like to come on April 13th, 2025, which is a Sunday, here in Huntington Beach. Myself, through Birthmark Society, and my friend Selena, her Instagram is Port Wine Stain Paintings. She paints portraits of people with facial differences and birthmarks. Her and I are hosting a art show at my print shop in Huntington Beach, April 13th, on Sunday, 2025. Obviously, you guys please come. I would love for you guys to come
Yes.
and meet the community, hang out.
That's kind of perfect because every Sunday I hang out with Julie, so she might take me one someday.
Come too.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you for being
coming.
here.
Of course, it was my pleasure, and I'm so happy that we were able to have this conversation. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you guys can come on my podcast one day.
Oh, that'd be
great.
awesome.
That'd be really fun.
Yes.
That'd be so awesome.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, of course. And we're done.
We're done.